Again, welcome to our March webinar. Today, we're going to have an exciting presentation entitled Mastering AI Prompt Engineering for Data Analytics. And our main presenter, Astrid Reed, is going to take the helm in just a moment. However, we wanted to let you know just a little bit about our community. We are part of the EDUCAUSE community groups, and you will find us online under Student Success Analytics Practitioners. We invite you to join. You will receive updates, but also access to our library. The library has just a plethora of resources about analytics and how to help students succeed. We also are present on LinkedIn, so we have a tag EDUCAUSE SSA CG for Student Success Analytics CG, and we'll post those to the chat momentarily. So again, welcome. We'd like to also thank EDUCAUSE for arranging these communities. They're very helpful throughout our work. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Astrid Reed. Astrid, go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Astrid Reed, and I am the Compass Community of Practice Manager from University of California, Irvine, and I saw all the hellos this morning. So hello from an unusually rainy Newport Beach morning. Normally it is blue skies and sunshine here most days, but we're getting some much needed rain, so that's good. I wanted to I'm gonna share my screen here in just a second, but I wanted to let you know that because I am also doing some demos, my slides are just online, so you won't see the full screen of it, but that's so I can switch back and forth. And so I'm gonna share my screen now. Maybe. Okay. Simon, can you see that okay? There we go. Okay.
Yes, we can see it. Thank you.
Actually now Zoom has new features, which you know, it totally goes along with the topic of today of using AI and using the new tools that are out there to make us better at our jobs. But now you are screen sharing, and it shows me what it looks like. So this hopefully will be the last time I have to ask somebody, hey, can you see my screen? Because it showed me. So that's cool. So again, Mastering AI Prompt Engineering for Data Analytics is the name of the topic for today. And I want to share some of the different tools that I use, ways that I use them. And this is just a small sample of all the different ways that these tools can be used. And while a lot of the things that I'm going to share today maybe more administrative task, the whole point, in my opinion, of what AI can do for us is really streamline and make more efficient a lot of those administrative tasks, so we can apply ourselves more to the more complex tasks, the tasks that require that only we can do. So while a lot of this isn't specifically focused on data analytics, I feel that a lot of these tasks will free you so you can do more data analytics, which, as a bunch of data nerds, that's all we want to do, right? Simon went over some of the EDUCAUSE Student Success Analytics Community Group. I am very proud to now be a member of the steering committee, and I'm very excited for what we're going to be able to do there this coming year. My institution, UC Irvine, the main initiative that I work on is the Compass Initiative, and it is a collaboration across campus to better use data to help our students succeed. In our community of practice at UC Irvine, my goal is to create a campus-wide community of practice that increases data and digital literacy, that creates conversations across roles, across schools, across all of those different silos and walls that academia was created with. I'm trying to tear all those down because we are now at this point that everybody's voice has value, every perspective has value, and we want to get everyone in the conversation. Okay, so I pulled up this great stuff from Workday. It took me about 2 seconds to pull this up. The items up here in the left-hand corner just show that, as we all know, there's tons of information out there. There's no shortage of information. The fact that I pulled this from Workday was just that it was really pretty and well set up and said what I wanted it to say, but I could have pulled 20 others and used those just as easily. The information is out there. AI is part of our everyday lives. It has its benefits. It has its, short sides or things that we're working through. This quote down here I thought was really good. AI is already breaking down communication barriers, helping us to find the right words, the right tone, and bridge cultures. This is the promise of AI centered on people, to not only make us more efficient, but more human. I know that a few years ago when I was at UC Berkeley, when the pandemic happened and all our meetings had to go to Zoom, I quickly learned that that some of the communication skills from our team members weren't coming through on Zoom the same that they were in in-person meetings. I may not be the only one that experienced this. So I brought in a communication coach, but we also started using Grammarly. Did a license to Grammarly for like 6 months and had everyone using that on their emails to really work on communications on all sides that were not in person. One of the things that I loved about Grammarly was the tone aspect. I'm a good writer. I'm a third-generation English grammarian. So, I understand the rules of the English language. The tone part, though, I found to be fantastic. If I want a professional tone, if I want a friendly tone, and it is a perfect example of using technology to be more human, to point out to us how to better communicate with other humans. There's a lot about this, and I found the same numbers in willingness to become more data and digitally literate. Learners out there want to learn. They are excited about this. They understand that it's important that they learn these skills, and anything that we can do to provide it to them. I've always felt that, while I feel I'm pretty lucky in most aspects, timeliness was never my thing. And I think it's all because right now, here in this time, all of my education, all of my work background, everything that I've been interested in and studied on my own has brought me right to this moment. And I love where I am. I work at a job where I get to explore all these new things and then go show them to others and help others to get excited about them and to overcome any kind of fears around new technology and help them to incorporate them into the work that they're doing. And as you can see, I'm totally getting over a cold, so excuse my froggy voice. Okay, our agenda for today: prompt engineering, Microsoft 365 Copilot, ChatGPT, and Zoom AI Companion. Now, this wouldn't be a very good presentation on utilizing AI and good prompt engineering if I didn't utilize those exact tools to create this slide deck. So I put in those titles, and then within PowerPoint, I used Copilot and said, create a brief definition for each. And then what it did was not only create a definition, but it also created me a slide. I didn't happen to use that slide, but nice, understanding key concepts. I love it. I did use the definitions that it provided though. So again, utilizing the tools that are there and making things that might have taken longer to do much quicker.
Astrid?
Mhm.
I'm sorry, would you mind putting the PowerPoint in presentation mode? Uh, just so we can see the slides a little bit easier. You can pop out of the presentation mode anytime. It should be the little button there in the lower right of the screen that looks like a...
That's right underneath my Zoom thing. Hold on.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. That's right. Yeah, thank you so much.
Slowly going back through. Learning objectives for today. Again, understanding the fundamentals, learning how to utilize and discovering techniques for real world applications, for how to make tasks more efficient, to better utilize your time to get things faster, better, and to learn new things. So prompt engineering. And I have to point out, Tasha loves our Peter the Anteater from UC Irvine. So the little anteaters everywhere, that's what that is. That's our mascot. Prompt engineering. And excuse me one moment. One of my colleagues at UC Irvine, Dominic Slauson, has created a lot of items around prompt engineering. We have training courses, and he has also created this fantastic prompt dashboard. When he first presented this last fall, I immediately contacted him and said, can I start utilizing this in my trainings? Which at the time he wasn't yet on our OIT team. He was still in the School of Business. We have since grabbed him from there, and he is now on our AI team in OIT. And so now we're working together to do all of these things. But the second I saw this, I was incredibly impressed by it. But it's not the end all. It doesn't give you the total ability to... Now here, Simon, is where I'm going to ask. Let me see. Yep, I can see it. Never mind, I won't ask because I have the tool. The tool itself isn't the end all. It doesn't make everything, it doesn't do everything for you by any means, but it is really helpful in teaching the process for creating good prompts. And here I'll just pull it up, for example. It provides the description of what you're trying to do, the steps for how to do it, and how it can be used. And this is something that we all need to think about with the prompts that we're creating. What's the overall description? What are we trying to get? What is our goal? What steps is it going to take to get us there? And how can this be used? Now, these are more direct prompts. There's also a lot of different prompts that can be used to learn, and I use that all the time as well. So it's just an example. Another one here, copy editor. Innovation incubator. But again, all of these have the same basic components, and this is how we need to start changing how we think when we're talking to AI. So, prompt creation tips and tricks. This provides some good ideas. I asked Copilot in web version for information on prompt creation tips and tricks, and this is what it provided for me. It's pretty good. It's a little longer than maybe I would have liked it to be, but all of the items are valuable. But one of the things that I wanted to point out, to be clear and specific is of course important. But I also want to point out the ask open-ended questions. While we want to be clear and specific in what we're asking of the AI, we don't necessarily want to be clear and specific on what we're asking, what kind of information we're asking it for, because we can limit ourselves. And sometimes that's okay. Sometimes we know exactly what we want, but sometimes we'd be better off creating those open-ended questions, letting it provide us information back. Who knows what we might get back? Maybe a lot more than what we originally were intending to get. And that's awesome. So don't limit yourself. MS365 Copilot. I was fortunate enough to get brought in on a beta testing team at UCI for the MS365 Copilot. I wrote a really good application, probably used a lot of AI in writing it, and that's why I was chosen. But we got to go to the Microsoft Suite here in Irvine, which was fantastic, and everybody on their team was incredible. And especially since going to that and asking specific questions, I've gotten where I am using MS365 Copilot all the time. Now, at UCI, we have very much gone in with the MS365 suite of tools. So I had recently moved all of my documents from Google Drive to SharePoint, and that makes it work a lot better that I have everything in that universe. One of the problems that I wanted to show was utilizing MS365 with my emails. I have a million emails, as I'm sure none of you know anything about. So what I did was I asked it to list my meetings, tasks, and activities for the next day, and to give me a list. Now, what I think is the best part about this is all of this information down here at the bottom. All of these attachments, all of the email links that provide me that additional information. But it's really nice to have all of it really clear and concise, and have my I can't think, sorry, I have a cold. Have all of my numbers along here that link to my documents. So this is just one of those ways that you can streamline your day-to-day task. Now I'm going to jump over to Copilot and show, zoom in. So here's that document right there. But then I also wanted to provide, and what I was talking about with Copilot, personally, I find working in the work mode, which is the internal mode, to be the most effective tool for me within Copilot. Let's see here. Oh, I know what I need to do. The next one that I wanted to show you is this one. Okay, so I'm going to go to a new chat. I'm going to do it in work mode. Into my prompt box, I'm going to put, using all of my UCI documents, sites, SharePoints, PowerPoint slide decks, and OneNotes, create material for a 5-slide presentation on Compass Maps. Compass Maps is the data literacy program that I created. Now, within this information, I do all my notes in OneNote, all my slide decks. I probably have, I don't know, at this point, 7,500 different notes around maps. I have 20, 30, probably 30 different slide decks around maps. For me to go through all of that, and not to mention Word documents and Excel documents, different things like that, for me to go through all of that and synthesize quickly a 5-slide presentation would take forever. I mean, it would be an insurmountable task. But I can ask it of this. It goes through all of my information and brings me back this, which, as I glance through it, and you should always glance through it, everything's correct, everything's presented properly. It's got, all of my resources down here below. So again, all of these items are what it pulled from. All of those are good items for it to pull from. And so there you go. I could throw it into a slide deck. How long did that take? Great tool, excellent tool. And it also provides additional prompts for me. So what about, can you provide more details on track 1? Let's try that. These are all the main sections within. Yep. Excellent, excellent. So again, tools that can help us present our material better, do our job faster, be more effective. and how we spend our time. All of these are things that if we utilize AI well, it can help us do all of this. And here, I'm going to click on this, and it's pulling these prompts from my information. One of the other things that I had somebody ask me is when I do this, what it creates for me, does it still have my voice? Well, I wrote all these original documents, so of course it has my voice. Yeah, it may summarize some things, it may synthesize some things together, but it still has my voice because I created the material. So again, this is something that I presented on. It provides information from this. And everything else that it's talking about here, it's pulling from my material.
Astrid?
Yes.
So we have a couple of questions. First one, what's the attribution that we should use for sharing the generative AI guidebook that you referenced there?
Which guidebook?
The guidebook that you said your friend created.
The generative AI.
Yeah, we have a link for it in the chat, but we just want to make sure if there was a citation or is it given to the public as a resource, let us know.
I would have to check, is it accessible?
Yes.
I mean, everything is here at the bottom as far as who should be referenced. It has all the copyright information at the bottom of each page. Is that what you're asking about?
Yes, that's, yeah.
I actually can't see that on my version. It's cut off.
This part is?
Yeah. Can you copy and paste that in the chat, please?
Let me see.
I already did copy and paste. It's in the chat already.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And one more question here. So it goes through all of the specified resources. Does it keep all of that for training Copilot for use of the public?
Okay, so we're over in Copilot now? Or
Yep.
we're still
Copilot, yep.
Copilot, okay. Ask that again, please.
Yeah, so you mentioned that it goes through all of your specified resources. So the question is, does it keep all of that for the training of Copilot?
It's my internal Copilot. So when you use the work tab as opposed to the web tab, the work tab is completely internal, and it learns my information, but it stays my information. It does not train Copilot as a whole. From my understanding of it, from going to the Copilot presentation.
Thank you, Astrid.
If I do things on the web version, of course, that can go to training Copilot as a whole. But the work version is internal and it's mine.
Yeah, and we would reference also the fact that Copilot is often licensed by your organization. So there's an agreement with Microsoft. You might have to check with your IT department. At many institutions, Copilot is licensed for this very reason, that institutions are more comfortable putting their own research, putting some intellectual property instead of tools like maybe ChatGPT that you might license personally. And then your agreement with the company is outside of the institution's security, privacy review, and so forth. But in general, most institutions view Copilot as a safer tool. It's paid by the institution and also usually vetted by them. Thank you, Astrid.
I was also just going to show you really quickly. At UCI, we've created our own Zot GPT. And part of the reason that we've done this is because it's internal and it's internal only. And while Our Compass group, while one of our big goals is to forge the path, but then turn around and share it with others, sometimes I'm not ready to share things with others yet, and I don't want all my information out there yet. And so, you know, I'll use GPT as opposed to ChatGPT. And so this is our internal. It is accessible by everyone at UCI. So all faculty, staff, leadership, students, everybody at UCI. And as you can see, we have all the different kinds of pieces tied in, just like ChatGPT has. Different communication styles. You can add additional knowledge. One of the things that I've used our GPT for is I've added in, I did it with, I pulled 5 different slide decks, added it into my additional knowledge. So it's just like uploading documents basically, and created a poster. Here's actually, I can show you exactly what I created. I created a poster for our UC Tech event. And ask it to, ask it to pull all this information and then help me, with what are the highlighted items, what is a Q sort, and gamifying student success analytics is something that I worked with Tasha on, and we presented on at Waypoints and at EDUCAUSE. And so I had multiple different presentations that I was pulling from, and was able to then have it help me create this poster for a different event. But I did it from GPT, pulling in a bunch of different slide decks. One of the other things that I was going to show about utilizing Copilot and why it works well is that, again, I've moved everything to Microsoft 365. And with Microsoft 365, one of the wonderful things that it's done is on the updates to SharePoint. The SharePoints now have templates that you can use. They look better than a lot of websites. They look incredible. They're easy to create. And while they are still basically a box for a bunch of folders, they're a box for a bunch of folders with a pretty face on it. But there's also all these tools that come with it. Right now, one of the things that I'm working with our Compass teams on is creating this shared calendar for all of our different teams. And I've created it so that all of our teams have this button here, so they can go into their calendar, add in their item, but then we can all see everybody's items on the shared calendar. And then it exports everything to a spreadsheet that our marketing and communications teams can use to promote things. So I've transformed a bunch of separate tasks into the presenters, the group enters the item once, and then it populates in multiple places where everybody can see and everybody can use. So again, creating greater efficiency through the tools that are out there. One of the other things that we've done I created one of the first ones that I created was a shared site with our AWS team. I tried doing it with Google Drive, couldn't make it work because the AWS team has AWS email addresses. They don't have Google email addresses, and it wouldn't work. Plus, it was ugly. It was so ugly. But I was able to do it where our AWS team has complete access to this. They can add things, they can edit things, they have as much access as we do. But I have also embedded, we have a couple of folders within here that are only accessible by our UCI team. I could also make it where AWS team has private folders. And the individuals that don't have access to those folders don't even know that they're there. They are only seen by the UCI team. One of the other things that I've created this site that is accessible by everyone with a UCI net ID. So any staff, students, faculty, leadership, anybody with the UCI net ID can access this communications SharePoint site. And there are two different kinds of SharePoint sites. There's the regular kind and there's the communications kind. This is the communications kind. But within it, I have all these different pieces of information. Here's where I put all of our different presentations that we've done, and then I can create QR codes or links so individuals can access them afterwards. We have training materials. We have our job aids. We have news. We have links to different sites. Here's our book club, different podcasts and things that have happened.
Astrid,
So,
would you mind please sharing again the QR code for the gamifying student success?
all right, close that. Yeah.
And folks, will also provide recording of our session. So any of the slides that you have missed, we should be able to replay and take a screenshot as well. All right, very nice. Thank you so much, Astrid. And please feel free to follow up with us after the session for any specific resources as well. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, absolutely. Okay. So jumping back in, let me go back to. Well. Okay. So this just covered some of the items that I just talked about. And ChatGPT. Okay, so I know that getting up there on time, so let me work through this fairly quickly. ChatGPT photo review, great new option. ChatGPT is fantastic. I utilize multiple different AI tools for different types of tasks, which is how they're created. I love my the ability to talk to my ChatGPT. My ChatGPT's name is Neo. He has an Australian accent, which I find very soothing and calming. We have great conversations. I do great research. But I wanted to point out a couple of new things that they've now added in there, and photo review is one of them. So this item right here, I just typed into a Google search, give me a data analytics image, and pulled this up. Added this image to ChatGPT, with the prompt, provide a written summary of these two graphs and how they connect. And this is what it gave me back. And it's pretty darn good. I researched everything that was with it. While there's some metadata, there's not a ton of stuff. So it pulled everything that it could out of the metadata, but really utilized it. It reads the text. It has that ability, and really was pulling a lot out of this. I haven't tried this yet with one of my own presentations. So that's my next test. This is, it was a web item, and so there was web metadata that goes with it. So the next test, which will be the real test, is give it something where there is no web data to go with it and see what it pulls up with that. But sounds like a cool experiment to me. Here's another photo use. Here's my son preparing to present in Vegas on Monday. And, he wanted to know, of course, and it's a business use. All my stuff is, been in a suitcase and it's all wrinkled. And, what is the best way for, me to unwrinkle my clothes? And so this was how he used it. These are great tools. Again, maybe not directly related to data analytics, but does this help us go present our data analytics? Absolutely. Okay, another one of the new ones that's fantastic is the deep research. And of course, I had to do a screenshot of this because it took a while for it to create this for me. And then I'm going to jump right now really quickly to a different web screen. Oh, here's the page that I utilized to where that document came from. And as you can see here, it's their sales page for some company. It says nothing about what the metrics in this mean. So it definitely was pulling from deeper information. Okay, so let me see. Where's my other one? Oh, no, here it is. Okay. Here's my deep research document. Deep enough for you? Obviously, it's massive and it's fabulous. It is absolutely fabulous. The neat thing too about doing it in ChatGPT, or many of the others will do the same, I can then have it read it to me. One of the other big ones, with this are all of the resources and how it pulls those up. So right here, I can click on that and it's going to pull up that resource. And all of them embedded right in here, all of these cited sources. One of the other things that I highly recommend, and I do all the time, is once I'm done with researching something, learning about something, I ask it to provide me an annotated bibliography. This has two very important aspects to it. Number one, it provides me that information so I can go back and use it later. I can reference it, but it also lets me look at how it came to putting together this information. And I can confirm that the resources that were used I'm good with, because I don't want to present on something. I don't want to provide something as valuable knowledge if I'm not certain what information it used to get there. And so I do this with all of mine. I have annotated bibliographies with all of them. Yes, I'm a big nerd that I love annotated bibliographies, but personally, I think annotated bibliographies are the most fantastic things ever. And also provides a good summary for everything, and then says, would you like citations in a specific format? How awesome is that? So it could put it in Chicago for me, or APA. One of the other things that I wanted to point out about the OpenAI platform, has a great prompt engineering document within it. And I have in my slides the 6 strategies for getting better results. But I highly recommend reading all of this. Because it's really valuable. Now, again, with all that being said, I'm a big believer in knowing all the rules helps you also know when to break the rules. So don't go by this 100%. They're guides. Use them as guides. We're in this age of learning. Don't just assume that this is the exact way to do things, the same as with the prompt engineering dashboard. Now I'm going to go back to strategies for better results. Those top 6 that were there, I think are fantastic. I provided the link for that as well. And then finish up really quickly with Zoom AI Companion. Zoom AI Companion, I love this. I don't know about you, but I'm in Zoom every day, all throughout the day. Our OIT team is remote. While I go to campus at times, and I'm not far away from campus, most of my meetings are on Zoom. I will argue with anyone on the fact that you can't have an engaged meeting on Zoom. You absolutely can, by using things like Zoom AI Companion. I can have conversations with people, and because I'm not taking notes every 5 minutes and taking notes every 5 minutes, I connect with people. I create relationships with people on Zoom, and then I've gotten where I make a big point of I'm really trying to get much better about finishing my meetings the 10 minutes before, the 5 minutes before, because a lot of times once I say goodbye to everybody, then I jump into my Zoom AI Companion in meeting tool and ask it the questions that I need. I ask the prompts that are there, the catch me up, the what items were discussed, the what were the action items. But I can also ask more defined, precise questions. If there was a specific item that I want all the details on, if Tom Andriolo is in the meeting and I want everything that Tom said, then I can say I want that. One of the other things that I really advised too was, are there any important items that have not been reported on? There are more times than not something really valuable that was netted in me asking this question that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So these are some of the uses for AI Companion. It's also, I put in here a way to set your meetings up so all of your participants have access to to be able to set this up. Now, of course, you have to, overlook the UCI part of it. But the rest of it is just the Zoom links, the Zoom settings. And closing with this image right here, which I think is everything. We've moved from the chalkboard to everything else. And I think this image sums it up best. But, when people ask me, and I ask people all the time, how do you feel about AI? And there's a lot of trepidation. There's a lot of fear around it. But what I tell everybody is all of the research right now shows that there's going to be a huge skills gap over the next decade. So it is essential that we provide skills to our staff and faculty and leadership, as well as to our students, to be able to use these tools, because the people that can use these tools, they will they won't lose their jobs. They will be essential workers, because this is the next stage. This is where we are. So, anything that we could do to develop growth mindsets, to get people excited about this, and to create community where we can ask each other questions and we can talk about all of this, that it's paramount. It's absolutely paramount. That's all.
Thank you so much, Astrid. Really appreciate the presentation. If there are any final questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We did have a short discussion in the chat about the annotated bibliography that you demonstrated. Thank you so much for doing that. Yeah, any final
Wait, there are other nerds out there that love annotated bibliographies like me.
Yes, I think this is the right place for all of them. So we just wanted to share a few final links. And again, please connect with us on LinkedIn as well. We invite you to our next webinar. We'll let you know through the EDUCAUSE channels and also on LinkedIn. Again, we thank you so much for visiting with us today. Thank you so much, Astrid, for your presentation. Really some great examples, and that guide to prompts was excellent as well. Thank you all, and we'll see you next time.